Let's take a look at our scriptures and our hymns for Sunday, the 10th of November, 2024. Let's take a look at the scriptures for Sunday, the 10th of November. These are from the Revised Common Lectionary. The Hebrew Bible reading is from 1 Kings chapter 17, verses 8 through 16. The psalm of the day, which we will sing, will be Psalm 146. The epistle reading is from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 9, verses 24 through 28. And the gospel reading is from the Gospel according to Mark, chapter 12, verses 38 through 44. And we read from the New Revised Standard Version in worship, but as you are preparing for worship, please read these in whatever translation is the most comfortable for you, whichever the one you find easiest to read. And just as a reminder, our scripture that sort of gives the underpinning of why we're doing this, why we're doing the scriptures and the hymns and the psalm in advance every week. It is from 1 Corinthians 14. St. Paul writes, "I'll pray in the Spirit, but I'll pray with my mind too. I'll sing a psalm in the Spirit, but I'll sing the psalm with my mind too." So we should sing with understanding. We should come to worship prepared and know about what we're singing. We put the tunes out here. We put recordings up here so that if there is a tune that you're not familiar with, you can familiarize yourself with it prior to worship. And we give a little background about the hymn text and about the tunes so that we can all sing with more understanding. Our gathering hymn on Sunday is "Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee," which we will sing to the tune "Hymn to Joy." That tune is also called "Ode to Joy." The author of the hymn, and remember the hymn refers to the text, not to the tune. A hymn is a poem. The author is Henry Van Dyke, who, as you see, lived from 1852 to 1933, and this hymn was written in 1901. Henry Van Dyke was a prominent minister and author of devotional literature in the late 19th century and then the early part of the 20th century. The composer of the hymn tune is Ludwig van Beethoven, who lived from 1770 to 1827. This melody was composed in 1824. This is the main theme of the fourth movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, which is called the Choral Symphony because that last movement features a chorus, and the chorus sings a setting of Schiller's poem, Ode to Joy, and this is the melody that Beethoven wrote for that. And that's why this hymn tune is sometimes called Ode to Joy, but in our hymnal it is known as Hymn to Joy. One of the features of this tune in the Beethoven's Ninth Symphony is there is a syncopation on the last line. The last line of each stanza comes in on the upbeat rather than waiting for the downbeat of the next bar. A lot of hymnals kind of iron this out, smooth it out, and have that last phrase start on the downbeat. Our hymnal has restored Beethoven's rhythm there, and so you have the last line of each stanza coming in on the upbeat. So we have a little anticipation at the end of each line. So listen for that as you listen to the tune being played, and then we'll put the words and the music up so that you can read along and sing along. Our psalm of the day is Psalm 146. And as we did last week, we will sing this psalm in a metrical setting. Remember, a metrical psalm is a psalm that has been paraphrased so that it fits with the meter of a hymn tune or a psalm tune, and that often means that it has been paraphrased to rhyme as well. The text source for this psalm version is Isaac Watts, the great hymn writer who lived from 1674 to 1748. This setting of Psalm 146 comes from Watts's collection called The Psalms of David Imitated, which he produced in 1719. The tune to which we'll sing it is called Old 113th. You remember when we had Old 100th a few weeks ago? Old, usually in psalm tunes, means this is from the original version of the Anglo-Genevan Psalter. So this is the tune in the original version of the Anglo-Genevan Psalter that was used for Psalm 113. Well, we're using it for a setting of Psalm 146. We attribute this tune to Matthias Gruyter. We're not exactly sure if Gruyter wrote this or not, but it did first appear in a collection of his in 1525. So we assume that Gruyter wrote this tune, but we don't know for sure. You see Gruyter's dates there, 1495 to 1550. So we're talking about during the Renaissance period. So this tune goes way back. All right, so we're going to play through the tune one time, and then we'll put the words and the music up on the screen so that you can read along and sing along with our Psalm of the Day, a setting of Psalm 146 by Isaac Watts. Our sequence hymn, and remember the sequence hymn is the hymn that comes right before the gospel, is God Whose Giving Knows No Ending. We'll be singing this hymn to the tune Beach Spring. The author of this hymn is Robert L. Edwards, and you see his dates there, 1915 to 2006. And he wrote this hymn in 1961. The tune is much older than the hymn. The tune comes from the Sacred Harp, which is, of course, part of the great American part-singing tradition, the shaped note tradition, from the original version of the Sacred Harp that was produced in 1844. This tune is often attributed to B.F. White, who was the original editor of the Sacred Harp and who did write a lot of the tunes in the original Sacred Harp. But again, we don't know for sure. But it's just safe to say that this does come from the Sacred Harp tradition. So let's listen to the tune Beach Spring one time through, and then we'll put the words and the music up so you can read and sing along with our sequence hymn, God Whose Giving Knows No Ending. Our sending hymn on Sunday is Take My Life and Let It Be Consecrated. The tune to which we will sing that is called Hendon, and the author of this hymn is Frances Ridley Havergal, and you see her dates there, 1836 to 1879, and she wrote this hymn in 1874. Frances Ridley Havergal was the daughter of an Anglican minister, and she is well known for many hymns. She wrote, Lord, Speak to Me That I May Speak, and probably her best known hymn besides this one is Like a River Glorious, but she wrote many, many more hymns. The composer of this tune was named Henri César Malin, and you see his dates there, 1787 to 1864. He wrote this tune in 1827. Malin was a Reformed minister originally from France, studied in Geneva. Of course, several centuries after John Calvin, but was a well-known minister in his day and composed several hymn tunes. He wrote the hymn tune, a hymn tune that is commonly done with "Just as I Am," the great hymn by another Anglican hymn writer, Charlotte Elliott. He wrote the tune that is often used with that hymn. So we'll take a listen to this tune, Hendon, and then we'll put the words and the music up for "Take My Life and Let It Be Consecrated." All right, so those are the scriptures and the hymns and the psalm of the day for the service for the Lord's Day for November the 10th, 2024. Our worship service is at 10:45 a.m. Union Presbyterian Church is at 719 Avenue F in Fort Madison, Iowa. For more information, you can go to our website, unionpresfm.org. You can also check out our Facebook page, which is Union Presbyterian Church, Fort Madison, just as it appears on your screen. And if you can't worship with us in person, we invite you to go to our Facebook page on Sundays, and you can worship with us there as we will be live streaming our services on Facebook. Thank you, and I hope to see you next week.